suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
We have a motion by Justice Bellinger and a second by Justice Howell to read by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You read by title only.
So do we suspend the rules and then make the motion?
Yes.
Or,
We suspended the rules. This will be read, discussed, and voted on a final time
okay.
tonight.
Just want to make sure I have it right. Being enacted by the Quorum Court of Saline County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2002-54 to raise the fixed asset valuation limit to $5,000.
Justice, you heard a motion and a second. You've heard the ordinance read by title only. This will be voted on tonight. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this ordinance? Hearing none, Justices, is there any discussion with you all? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rue,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Whitley,
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yes.
Keck,
Yes.
Bisbee.
Yes.
It's gonna be ordinance 2024-28.
Thank you, Clark. Exhibit B.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Justice Bellinger and a second by Justice Bisbee.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of Saline County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2044, authorizing the Saline County judge to declare a ban on uncontrolled burning within Saline County. Article 1, Saline County ordinance number 2044, Article 2 is hereby amended to read as follows. Article 2, any violation of this ordinance may be punishable by fine up to $1,000. And you've got your stricken language. Article 2, emergency clause, the ordinance being necessary for the protection and preservation of public health and safety and for the prevention of damage and loss of life from wildfires and emergency hereby declared to exist. And this ordinance shall be in full force and shall take effect upon passage and publication as provided by law.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this ordinance? If you would introduce yourself, you'll be recognized. Sir, you will have 3 minutes
Yeah,
to address the court. Thank you.
okay. Don't warn me when it's 30 seconds left because I'm ADHD and you disrupt me. Thank you. This turned on?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right. Currently, there is no burn ban in effect right now, is that correct?
Correct.
And we just got off of one recently that was in effect for, what, 45 days to a month? Something like that? And that's the only one we've had this year?
That's correct.
So, with that in mind, it's raining tonight, I don't expect to burn ban tomorrow, and we're hitting the rainy season. My question is, what constitutes an emergency? Why does this need to be an emergency clause when we have so few and not expecting a burn ban for so long? It seems like this could go on through the normal process. Now that you folks discuss that shortly. It kind of reminds me of our governor rushing things through when folks didn't have time to really give it due consideration. And why is the increase tenfold when previously there was a warning given, first offense, and why not have a $100 fine for the first offense and then double it each time till you get to 800 and then go to 1,000? Or better yet, why not? Everybody sitting at that table could afford 1,000, but most of the citizens of Saline County couldn't. And I know of a situation where a woman had a traffic ticket, went to court, couldn't pay it, and the judge offered her to do community service. There's a lot of places where community service can be done instead of having the big discrepancy in incomes. The jails are full of people that couldn't afford to pay their fines. So, if you do it incrementally, it'll help. And just something to think about, and that you guys can discuss. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Is there anybody else to speak for or against this ordinance? Justices, do you have any discussion?
I think I'd like to address this a little bit. We talked about this in the previous committee meetings. Kind of to hit to his points is this is a punishable by fine up to $1,000. So that doesn't mean that the first time offense can't be a warning still, but the previous language only allowed for a warning to be given, didn't matter how big of a issue it was at the time of that incident. So, I think depending on the size or, whoever's actually, I guess, against this ordinance here, there's really no reason to, I would say, disapprove of this. I think this gives the sheriff's office the ability to determine what the appropriate fine would be for each situation.
Thank you, Justice Henry. Justice Whitley?
Yes, Judge. Question about the, as far as it says up to $1,000, who would decide what the fine would be? Would it be?
Well, no, it would be the judge.
Okay.
And in this case, it would be Judge Ford's court. He would determine the amount, and then also, to your point of community service, that's all, I mean, those are options that the judge has. So he can do stuff like that, but that's all up to him. He would administer the amount.
Thank you.
I want to. Justice Chisholm.
I would just say that, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but $1,000 hit me pretty hard. But, if there's a burn ban on, I'm not gonna be burning anyway.
Me too.
Justice Bellinger.
This is something that Justice Whitley brought up when we discussed this a couple weeks ago, jumping the fine from 100 to 1,000. He also had some concerns about that, but the thing that I think we're doing here is we're setting a fine maximum of 1,000. Doesn't mean that the first offense is going to be 1,000. The first offense could be a warning. It's the discrepancy that we give the sheriff's office, where the previous ordinance as it's written now, he has to give a warning. So if you have somebody that knows better than to be setting a fire and he's going to do it anyway, it's not going to cost him anything. So the whole idea of revising this ordinance to raise it up to $1,000 is to get somebody's attention. Because yes, I could pay $1,000 fine, but no, I don't want to. I will follow the rules. If I'm a contractor in a tight spot trying to get a job done and the fine's $100 or a warning, I'm gonna light fire. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get their attention. This is something that's important, because that little fire that you start today with a burn ban going on could burn thousands and thousands of acres, and that's in houses, and kill people, and that's something that we're trying to prevent. As far as the emergency clause written on this ordinance, when this ordinance was written, we were in a burn ban that was pretty hot, and we thought we needed to take action on it immediately. So I'm ready to go just as it is. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Howell,
Yes.
Rue,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Whitley,
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yes.
Keck,
Yes.
Bisbee,
Yes.
Billingsley.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-29.
Thank you. Exhibit C.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Justice Howell and a second by Justice Rue The clerk will read in full unless there's a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
I make the motion, we suspend the rules and read by title only.
We have a motion by Justice Bellinger and a second by Justice Howell to read by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If you read by title only, please.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Saline County, State of Arkansas, and orders to be entitled, an ordinance establishing the daily rate fee to be charged to municipalities for keeping inmates and municipalities in the Saline County Detention Center facility.
We have a motion by Justice Bellinger and a second by Justice Howell. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor of this, hearing none, we will ask for a roll call, please.
Ruth,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Whitley,
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yes.
Peck,
Yes.
Bisbee,
Yes.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Howell.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-30.
It's a retrospective comment, but I do, if your constituents ask any questions, I would refer them to Article 1, that this is for all municipalities that are not in an active agreement with our current expenditure and prorating of days for prisoners per day. That moves us to Exhibit D.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Justice Whitley and a second by Justice Billingsley to read by title only. We'll read by title only unless there's a motion to suspend the rule and we'll read by title only if there's a motion to suspend the rule.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read by title only. The motion was made by Whitley, the second by Bellinger. If you read by title only, please.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Saline County, State of Arkansas, and orders to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2024 Saline County budget for ordinance number 2023-30 to appropriate transfer funds therefore to the various budgets and for other purposes.
Justices, you've heard this read by title only. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this ordinance? Are there any comments, questions, or discussion by the Quorum Court? I would like to make one, because I got a question to ask at last committee. You see here donations for veterans projects. We have an individual that's gathering a group to do a very phenomenal project at our memorial, so that people are more easily able to find the veterans brick that they're looking for and the names of the bricks that are there. She's gonna have to raise funds to do this, and she believes that it's around $1,500 to $2,000 to get this in place. And so we have to appropriate those dollars that she feels like she can raise ahead of time. So those dollars are received by the county and then spent for the project on the memorial. So I just wanted to be clear on that. If there's no other questions or discussions, I would ask for a roll call, please.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Whitley,
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yes.
Peck,
Yes.
Bisbee,
Yes.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-31.
Thank you. Exhibit E.
Motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only, and a second by Justice Howell. The motion was made by Justice Billingsley. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of reading it by title only, if there's a motion to approve in a second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Have we got a motion in a second?
No.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Justice Bisbee and a second by Justice Bellinger. If you would, read by title only, please.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Saline County, State of Arkansas, and orders to be entitled an ordinance to amend the 2024 Saline County Budget Ordinance number 2023-30 to appropriate, transfer funds therefore to the various budgets and for other purposes.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this ordinance? Hearing none. Are there any questions or comments by any of the justices? Hearing none, I ask for a roll call, please.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Whitley,
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bisbee,
Yes.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rude,
No.
Bellinger.
Yes.
We have 1 no and 9 for.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2024-32.
Thank you. You'll find on your agenda Exhibit F. We discussed this in committee. In my appointment of Kara Conrad will be subject to the confirmation of this quorum.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Bisbee and a second by Billingsley. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this appointment? Hearing none, are there any justices that have any questions or comments about Exhibit
I
F?
have one question. I see she's being reappointed. I see this is for a reappointment. Has she served previously? If so, when?
She is currently serving. She took a vacated spot that I don't know the exact date that she began to serve, but it was about the time I came on
Okay.
as county judge. So she has not served a full term, but she stepped in the place of another trustee.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? It's a voice vote, right? If there are no other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have no add-ons on our agenda. I have a couple of announcements, but I'd like to open up for any announcements from the Quorum Court. Really? Is there anybody
I do have
here?
a question about our next meeting. Did we decide to keep it on the Monday?
That's gonna be on mine. Is there anybody here that didn't have an opportunity to speak for one of the agenda items for ordinance? I'll just go straight into my announcements. Our last meeting, October 26th, we talked about trash pickup. We had the great Saline County cleanup, and we had, I just wanted to give some numbers here. We had 2,540 pounds and 9 miles covered during that pickup. The shortest route was a half-mile route in McGee Creek and yielded the most trash picked up in that area, which was 1,200 pounds of trash in that half mile of McGee Creek. Shows us where all this stuff is going. That also happens to be the source of our drinking water. 9 miles, 2,540 pounds of litter with 60 volunteers. Well done. We will continue these efforts and watch them grow. We have 50 do not litter signs out, but also on those signs are how to report illegal dumping. So I would encourage all of our residents that if they see this, they call the number that is on that sign. And if I were a better county judge, I would be able to articulate what that number is for you right now.
Judge, did have a question about that, if I may. Are there any more of those signs available?
One,
I'm speaking for it, please.
okay, it's in my office. It's got the number on it.
Okay.
Let's look at
I love
it. We'll order more signs.
Judge White, before we get on that subject, may I interrupt?
Please.
Guys, we'll be planning this again in the spring, and hopefully we'll have a date set soon so we can have a lot of time to plan for it, get a good turnout, because while that's a good start, that's all that is a start. There are so many miles of road, and part of the reason why that creek was so heavily, had so much trash in it, is the first time we've ever done a cleanup on that creek. But as you can see, that's where the water takes the trash, is to the creek. We did the stretch of Mulberry Salem from Brazel back to Riverside again, and picked up several pounds of trash before it got flushed into Taylor Creek, which dumps into the North Fork, which dumps into the Saline, which is where our drinking water comes from. So I think it's going to be a great project. I've got it in my mind to start doing a video to help teach some kids what happens when you throw trash out, because that's where it's all going to wind up. The other thing, while I'm rambling here, and I asked you all a couple weeks ago to come up with a nominee for our Citizens Trash Committee, and hopefully you guys can get with me after the meeting tonight and give me some names, and I'd like to get that rolling first of the year, so thank you.
Thank you, Justice Bellinger. On November 11th, I'm not there yet. On November 4th, we last met. On November 5th, we had an election. We were leading the state on November 4th, and we maintained our lead all the way through to the end of closing of the polls. Almost 58,000 people, actually 57,944 registered voters in Saline County voted, for a total of 71.67 of our registered voters turned out.
That's amazing.
This is a job well done by Saline County
Yes.
and everybody involved in the 22 polling sites, our clerk's office, the entire team of Saline County, our municipalities, everybody that went out. If you have seen, it's something I'm proud of every time I see it, there are billboards that are actually up stating that you're driving through an engaged county, because we're #1 in the state for voter turnout. I hope that we only climb. And with that, I also want to say that I would like to congratulate all of those that ran and those who were elected, that include Justice-elect Wilson Hatcher, who will represent District 2, Justice Carlton Billingsley, who will continue to represent District 3, Justice-elect Keith Kellum, who will represent District 4, Justice Justin Rue, who will continue to represent District 5, Justice Josh Curtis, who will continue to represent District 7, Justice Jim Whitley, who will continue to represent District 10, and Justice-elect Karen Krausen, who will represent District 13. Thank you for all of those who put their name into the hat, and congratulations for those who were elected on November the 5th. Two more quick items. On November the 11th at 11 o'clock on our Veterans Memorial, we had a very wonderful and meaningful Veterans Day ceremony. For those that were able to attend, they know what I'm talking about. This is good news. There were people that were conflicted on where to show up, because there were other municipalities and school districts that were holding veterans ceremonies also. We'll continue to work together, so hopefully one day we can make them all, but I was extremely proud and want to thank all of those who coordinated the veteran ceremony on November 11th at 11 a.m. The last thing, which is going to segue into what Justice Billingsley just asked about, was what are we going to do on December 2nd? There's a question mark there, but there's also, we know what's going to happen on December 2nd. There's going to be a parade where almost 12,000 people attended last year, and there's a lot of volunteers that have worked very hard. You saw the times and dates posted, but December 2nd will be our parade. December 12th will be Santa in the gazebo in character night, and we all know we have plenty of characters. December 13th, we will have special needs night in the courthouse with Santa. December 19th, we'll have Santa in the gazebo again, and last is December 20th, Santa will be in the gazebo. The lights of the courthouse are on the entire time through New Year's, So please tell a friend, bring a friend to historic downtown Benton. And anytime Santa's here, there'll be free cookies, hot chocolate, and your opportunity to get a picture with Santa. Which now leads us into our question. What is the Quorum Court's pleasure as to committee night on December 2nd?
We've been doing it that night.
6 p.m. will be the time, just so you know. 6 p.m. will be the time that we say go.
If I remember right, last year, we postponed our meeting to start till 7. And I don't think that was an issue.
What's on the agenda? Are there subcommittees prior to the committee meeting?
We can either do budget meeting before or after. I mean, I think last year what we did is we started early, we did budget committee meeting, then we postponed, and then we came back and actually held the meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Do we want to do the budget meeting prior to the parade and then come back
Yes.
after the start of the parade? The parade was not a short one last year.
Can we just move it?
I was gonna say, what about Tuesday? Same time.
I'd say move it.
I have no problem with that.
Is that the form of a motion?
Make a motion to move it to Tuesday.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, a motion by Justice Rue and a second by Justice Engel to move to Tuesday. I'll open it up for discussion.
So if we move to Tuesday, will we just start a regular meeting at 6:30 and do the budget and roll on from there? Or so it'd be just like normal, only Tuesday instead of Monday?
Typically, you start your budget meeting prior to the
At 6,
committee.
okay.
So we could start that at 6 or,
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds good.
That would actually be good for me. I got a lot going on Monday.
Same here.
Any other discussion? So the motion is to move Monday's meeting to Tuesdays, start the budget meeting at 6 p.m. and regularly scheduled committee meeting at 6:30. Am I
Or
saying
whenever
that
the
correctly?
budget meeting
Whenever
is.
it's, yeah.
Or immediately following the budget meeting. Any other comments? All those in favor?
I think that's a good idea, because myself, I was going to see Santa Claus anyway. If we do it Monday night, we're gonna miss it.
Don't forget to get your picture taken.
I'm gonna do that.
Not coming to your house?
Any other comments?
That's later on.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Feel for the record, Tuesday at 6, budget meeting, committees immediately following, or as close to 6:30 as we can get. Pictures, hot chocolate, and cookies on Monday night. Anything else to come in front of the Quorum Court?
Judge?
Yes.
Yes.
Anything else to come in front of the Quorum Court?
Motion to adjourn.
I've got something I'd like to say, Judge. There we go.
Clerk Curtis?
You had talked about the elections a little bit earlier, and you left someone out of it. I'd like to personally thank you for what all you did for elections here in Saline County. You have stood toe to toe for Saline County elections. You helped get the vote out, the Quorum Court members. Without y'all, we couldn't have had those billboards out there. Without y'all getting out and telling people to go vote. It all comes down to people working together. Trevor Valines, Trevor absolutely did awesome. He come into a position that wasn't a position, and he's made it his own. And he really shined during the elections. He worked and worked and worked, late hours, early mornings, but this was truly an election that Saline County came together, and like you said, engaged. And when you've got 80,000 registered voters, and you voted over 70%, that's just unheard of. And I think it's because we all work together on all of it. And Lydia, Allison, there were some times that we wanted to just cry, but the office would bust out in laughter. And that's just from
Exhaustion.
dealing with problems all day long, working together on those problems. I'm not gonna go into any of the horror stories you had on it. But, thank y'all so much for all the job, and, looking forward to the next election in a long time.
There's nothing else coming from the quorum court. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Oh, my back. Oh.